guys, Nick here. You're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com, a weekly live show about video games. We're proud to say that we've been at this since 2008 and have remained 100% independent since day one, and that means you'll never have to hear a sponsored ad on this show. So if you want to support what we do, all we ask is that you consider making our silly little show part of your weekly rotation. You can tune in when we record these episodes live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time on twitch.tv/4playerpodcast, all spelled out. If that's not your thing, though, you can also subscribe to the show on your preferred podcast service, join our community Discord at discord.gg/4player, or, if you're so inclined, send us a couple bucks a month on Patreon. And that's it for shameless self-promotion. Time to talk about the latest and greatest in the world of video games. Let's get started. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 880. It is July 9th, 2026. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, joined by Brad Simons.
Yep, that's me.
Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
And Christopher Davis.
Hi.
And Christopher Davis is... I don't think that worked. The timing on you were trying to make a splashy like pop. That's not an alcoholic beverage, you bitch.
It's Cachorritos, bitch. These things sneak up on you, and I don't think they make these anymore. Okay, this might be the last one in Texas.
What is he saying?
So just a heads up, everybody listening
Your
at home,
stomach ache's gonna sneak
Chris
up on
Davis
you for drinking too much orange soda.
Chris Davis is coming in hot tonight. He's spicy.
Yeah.
He's got attitude and spunk, so that's cool.
I like
exciting.
it, man.
Why? What's got his panties in a twist?
I don't know, but well, I could say the world, the video game world, continues to fall apart at the seams. We're going to talk about it tonight. But I figured before we get into like terrible, shitty news, we could talk about something light and fun. I don't know. Anybody seen any good movies lately, or I don't know. I was out of town for a week.
Not light and fun movies.
You didn't see any light or fun movies. What did you see?
I don't think I saw any movies.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck me then. I'm going to see Evil Dead on Saturday. That should be fun.
Sweet. Light and fun. Yes, so a modern Evil Dead film.
Light and fun for me. Oh man, I don't know. We got video games stuff to talk about tonight because Sony and Microsoft are both shitting the bed in their own special ways. We'll get to that.
They're not just shitting the bed. They're setting the bed on fire, then burning down the fucking house with it.
They're shitting on the bed, then setting it on fire.
I have a private message incoming alert here from Nightshader. He says, I can tell you what the Carlos bit is.
Oh, okay. Wait. Maybe you should give people at home context because if they weren't watching Trailer Talk.
Apparently, there was a bit in Carlos's Game of the Year video that no one noticed or no one cared.
From last year.
From last year, yeah. And no one could figure it out. So we watched it as part of Trailer Talk to see if we could figure it out, and we still couldn't figure it out.
First of all, I had a theory. I had a theory.
Your theory was that what?
My theory is that he recorded the whole thing while taking a shit in the bathroom. Because, like, it sounds
like a metaphor.
He's
it's like a metaphor. I see what you're saying.
His microphone sounds terrible, and it sounds like he's in a very echoey room and not directly in front of his microphone. So it's like he propped his phone up on the counter while he was sitting on the toilet and just recorded his audio.
Nightshader also says it's extremely underwhelming.
Oh, okay. So, okay. What's the bit?
He hasn't answered me yet, but I'll let you know as soon as I know.
What if that's the bit?
Situation.
The bit is that there's actually not a bit, and he's just going to see how many people he can get on board thinking.
That's what I said. I said the bit was that he told Brad there's a bit.
That's not
just to trick him into watching it on Trailer Talk.
But
it's in your head, Brad.
Nah.
Anyways, how's everybody doing? We didn't do a show last week. It was, July 4th. I was out of town.
I was out of town too.
Yeah, so I don't know. Sorry if I sound low energy. I feel the industry is sad right now. But again, I don't want to start on a sour note. Let's talk about the video games we've been playing, and then we can talk about the sad shit later. How's that?
I did see a movie. Wait! I did. I saw a new movie. I forgot. I have a letterbox. I could have just looked at that. I saw Leviticus.
Oh shit! I saw that you posted about that. That's been on my list. How was it?
It was
looks good.
It was good.
Shit.
It's like I mean, it's a little bit like
Yeah.
It's like It Follows, but not very like fun.
Elevated?
It Follows is kind of fun. This is not fun.
But it's good.
It's kind of depressing. Yeah, no, it's good. Of course, it's good.
It's more of a straight. I mean, well, not that I would want to classify It Follows as not horror, because it certainly is creepy as hell. But like, there's that. It's the fucking the snail conundrum or whatever, right?
Yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting. It's intense. I also watched Undertone because I'm a podcaster. And
I saw that in theaters.
I don't think it's like an incredible movie, but it is very effective horror for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I found it enjoyable.
I was insulted by the podcasting. It's a long time podcaster.
There is a lot of different kinds of podcasts. And I have actually listened to a few podcasts now that are more like the podcast that's depicted in that movie.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, it still didn't feel very natural or anything. You know,
no. I mean, dude, I've listened to so many podcasts now that are like 100% scripted, or like the delivery of that scripting ranges from like overacting, trying to make it sound casual, to we're not even going to try. It's just like reading the driest material possible, but somehow
what made it really
so
bad was when they're like out of character conversation.
Yeah,
you know, like the not recording, and they're like, okay, let's get back into character. I'm like, what do you? Stop it! No, no one whoever wrote this never listened to a podcast in his life.
That's what I'm saying. There are lots of podcasts out there that are exactly that. One of the podcasts I listen to the most is 100% like trying to act like they're not acting, but like you can tell right before they started recording, they were like, okay, let's get in character. And it's like,
wow.
Okay. That shit's real.
What podcast? Why do you listen to it?
I mean, I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and a lot of true crime podcasts are scripted. But the delivery of those scripts ranges very dramatically, and usually when they're trying to make it sound more casual.
True crime podcast?
I do. In fact, that's like 90% of the podcasts I listen to these days. Well,
I mean, I listen to like criminal and stuff, but that's not like bad though. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, whatever. Yeah.
Anyways, that's we don't need to go into that. All right.
You guys have awful tastes.
What are you talking about? There we go. What are you talking about?
Let's talk about that.
No, I want to know what Crispy's listening to.
I'm not listening to anything.
Yeah, Crispy.
I listen to a book every once in a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't listen to an audiobook while I'm doing things.
Right. Yeah, I guess if you're...
I'm what? I'm what?
Kind of
I'm
a
one of
dummy.
those cool people who can't listen to audiobooks.
Kind of a dummy.
I'm officially on book 3 of Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's an update I have. My wife is thrilled, but still annoyed because I'm nowhere near book 8.
I did watch a few episodes of Love Island. If you want to know my opinion on...
I need to know your opinion on this right now, Brad.
No, I mean, I think it's a bad show. No, Well, I need to know what the hype was about, and I'm still a little lost.
So, yeah. What, you're lost as to what the hype is about?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I had to keep watching.
What is Love Island? Do they do international versions of it? Is it the same as that one show where that guy in Spain was like ripping his shirt off like the Hulk?
That sounds about right.
Because he was watching his girlfriend get banged by another man on a big screen TV on the beach. They brought him out to the beach where they had a whole like viewing
They turned the beach into a cuck chair?
Yes, and like a really fancy cuck chair. They sat him in it. They turned on the TV, and it was a security camera footage, like a low light security camera feed of his girlfriend's bedroom, while another guy is like getting in there, and they're like getting all lovey dovey, and then literally on TV they're showing him just like railing her under the covers, like not censoring it really. The only
It's an episode of-
censorship is the blanket. Like,
I think that's an episode of The Rehearsal season 2, actually.
and this guy's watching it, like yelling at the TV, like "No, mi amor!" and like tearing his shirt off. Like,
Dude, that is what Love Island is kind of like.
crazy. This went viral on Twitter a few years ago. Someone knows what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
we gotta
about.
find. I think his name was Paulo or something.
Like when Sincere betrayed Melanie when he was talking to Kate. I mean, come on, you can't be doing that.
It was better than Shakespeare, dude. It was great.
You know me and cringe, but I feel like I'd kind of like to see that.
Dude, it's too like, it's beyond, like, cringe doesn't enter into it, man. It is absolute pathos. It's like the rawness of the human experience right there. But there's also like a lady like with a microphone watching him have this breakdown, just being like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling right now? Like,
that's so fucked. Like, imagine like the lowest point of your life, right? Like, just like watching something, like your heart is breaking, and in the moment someone's in front of you with a microphone saying, tell us how you're feeling. Like, Jesus Christ. But it makes great television. All right.
Temptation Island. I think I found the clip.
Island?
I think I found the clip.
Okay.
Montoya crashes out.
Montoya, that was his name. Yeah.
Save it for share that link, but let's save it for the break.
Temptation Island, is that what it is? Okay.
I think so.
All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's talk about video games. Rein it in, Brad. Stop looking at this video. Brad, I've been playing a game. Wait, no, I can't start. I'm not going to be the first one to talk about a game tonight.
I want to know how far you are.
I'm 20 hours.
Oh, shit. He's for real. It's not like Baldur's Gate. He's actually doing it.
I've played 80 hours of Baldur's Gate, you son of a bitch. Okay.
Yeah, but you didn't beat Act 2.
I did not beat Act 2, but that's the acts of that game are huge. But anyways, I'm 20 hours into Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles.
Damn. What made you pick that up? Steam sale?
I've been thinking about playing it for, there was a Steam sale, but also like,
that's crazy.
I thought it was already in our library, and I've been thinking about playing it, and then I was like, wait a second, it's not in our library. I thought somebody else had bought it, and that wasn't the case. So I was like, fuck it. I'm about to go
I got a physical on Switch. I rarely pick up physical games. Go Sony. I guess we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
But that one I wanted to buy physical, so yeah. Got on Switch.
Yeah.
Cool. So, 20 hours. So I mean that's substantial. And I don't think you're like grinding random battles.
I am grinding random battles because let me tell you, I just beat Act 1 last night, and I think that's.
Oh yeah, so you're not like so far.
Yeah, I mean, I
basically played up to the current day. Like you played the flashback essentially.
Yes, I'm a few missions into, or a few battles into, when you return back to the current day.
Okay, cool. August. Argath. Well, what do they call him in this one?
Agrius? Or no. Oh, Argath. Argath. Dude, that's okay. I'm glad you asked that. Can I just say, one, I'm really liking this game, but I gotta say, the fucking names of the characters in this and the town, like I'm not gonna remember any of that.
Wait, did they change the names?
A few of them, yeah.
And I think they're just light variations of what they originally were, but like,
it's like
names like Dice Darg, and there's like Agrius and Agatha, and like there's like too many that are like
Agrius.
Careful.
Agrius, yeah, they're too similar. Like I don't know, I'm struggling with names, and
that's just some Matsuno stuff.
And it's also very like we've talked about it so much. It's very like Game of Thronesy, right? So like it's very politics heavy and relationship, like family drama and stuff. And I'm still
good.
I mean, it does have good documentation for that stuff. So if I do have a question, I can just go into the menu and like read about the shit to kind of like remind myself how people are related to each other and stuff, which is fine. But in the moment, like I'm watching stuff play out, and I'm like, my brain's short circuiting. And also, I just want to preface this by saying I might be really bad at this game. I don't know.
There's footage. Look at the footage.
Yeah, don't watch. Don't look at the footage, Brad. I don't know if I can take Brad, who considers this his favorite game of all time, scoring my footage as we're talking about it.
Dude, I found this game to be.
I'm looking at the footage.
But
no, you're probably fine.
It's challenging. I have died and had to. There's been several battles that I've like restarted completely multiple times because I was like, this is falling apart on me. I made a terrible decision. But like I do really love.
It gets easier if you start unlocking, like, you know, once you've unlocked like the monk class or whatever, like, you know, and
that I have questions.
Yes.
All right. I need some pro tips here because
I will provide.
The job class system in this game is very robust, and so robust that I don't know what my approach should be, because like I'm just like, sometimes I feel like I'm just randomly like, oh, I've gotten this guy, I've gotten this class or this class to level 5, and now this new option opened up, so yeah, of course I'm going to switch over and try that one, and I feel like I'm just bouncing around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and like none of my characters can even use ethers. I have one character that can use high potions. The rest can only use regular potions.
Let me explain. So the chemist is the class that can use all of the items. Now,
yes,
but
it's
can
also the lamest class.
Well, for now,
eventually
later in the game they can equip guns.
Rom's is a squire. You just hang on, man.
A lot of the characters, a lot of the main characters start as squires, but but they're like main. I mean, I've got a good grasp now for like
they're learning. Don't be
like
mean.
Learning abilities and learning types of abilities that then can be borrowed from other classes.
But
really cool.
let me give you an example. So just very basic is like ladies are kind of better at casting and dudes are better at like the physical classes. That's just from like a natural like power stat and magic.
It's a very bioessentialist game.
Yeah. But like the chemist might seem like a lame class, but if you unlock potion, high potion, ether, a phoenix down, of course, and then unlock
potions,
like the
phoenix downs and
But let me explain. What makes the chemist good is that the chemist can throw items, so you don't have to be right next to a character to like raise them with the phoenix sound or to heal them. Now, if you don't want to be a chemist, that's fine. So learn the ability like throw item. You can learn that the ability to throw an item,
and then
so you can switch over to a more powerful magic class like a black mage, but then have her sub skill be item and her sub ability or her support ability be throw item. Now all of a sudden she's as effective as a chemist at throwing items, but has the power to do really powerful magic
I was
attacks.
being a little hyperbolic when I called the chemist lame. I'm just saying like some of the chemist abilities that seem very basic. Like I just want to be able to replenish my MP with an ether. Costs like 300 job points.
Takes
you're right. Forever. Going into a battle where you have limited space, like limited slots with a chemist,
they really
can
want
sometimes
you to
like
just grind it out.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Nick. Your generics, at least now that you're in chapter 2, you can do propositions where you can send like your generics. You can't send story off characters. So you switch them to the classes you don't want to use in a regular battle. Like switch them all to chemist so you can learn like auto potion. That's like one of the best reaction abilities in the game. And then when you bring them back, change them back to the classes you actually want to play in battle. And now they've learned like that essential reaction ability without actually having to like fight with a bunch of chemists. I mean, that's essentially what that's for. Now,
so that's
for like
good.
the story characters, you'll have to like trudge through it. But the other cool thing is they don't tell you is you can like if you have a chemist in battle, every time they like are getting job points, like each one of your other characters that have access to that job, or even if they don't, they're getting passive points. You get they get like 25% of those job points passively. So you'll gradually earn chemist points like the more that
I was wondering about that because I was
in effect,
I feel like I'm seeing other classes get their points rise.
Exactly. That's exactly how that happens. It's one of those like untold systems that they don't really explain, but you'll notice like you're getting job points in other classes. And in fact, if you switch all of your characters to chemists, they'll all learn each other's points that much faster, so you can like really blaze through. But that's
then you got to fight battles as a team of chemists.
True. I mean, once you unlock guns, chemists become a little bit better. But I will say, monk is like easy like early game tip. Like their skill set is really good because they have the ability to heal health and MP for free. And you can even do it with other teammates in like a T pattern, but you have to be on the same level. So sometimes positioning is very important in battle because you want them to be on the same level so that you can.
I'm learning
do
all the
chakra
little
and stuff
idiosyncrasies like that, like
Yeah.
having to be on the same level and how the squares correspond and stuff. And,
This
like,
is a very
all that
old
shit's
game,
really cool.
and even though they did some modern conveniences, it doesn't have like all of the modern conveniences that you would see in like a more modern tactics game. But a lot of the systems, they hold up. So
Yeah,
you know,
I'm digging it.
yeah.
I'm glad I'm finally playing this.
Just know that like one more time. This is like there's some classes are faster than others. So like a summoner is a really powerful class, right? Summons can be really powerful, but a black mage actually goes a lot faster. Like their turn orders come faster. So if you learn like the abilities from a slower class and switch back to a faster class, or a class that has a higher like stats, like you can actually get the benefit of that other class even better than being in that other class. So
I have a summoner, and like there's one passive or support ability that he has that I feel like is like using a summoner isn't helpful.
Short charge. Short charge.
I don't think it's short charge. It's one that like cuts the MP cost of summon of like all your abilities in half.
The MP cost, yeah.
And because like I have a summoner who does tons of damage, but once I use a summon twice, he's useless practically.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, they're nukers. You do a couple of nukes and then you want to clean up the battle with, but that's why you like, give them a weapon that they can, put it on a class. Just don't mix and match. Don't mix and match magic and physical, right? Like you don't want to have your ninja be using summons, right? Because their magic set's not going to be very high, so the summons are not going to be very strong. Yeah, I like to switch back to black
smart
mage.
About
the
classes.
Black mage is fast and they have a high magic stat, and you can start putting gear on them that boost their magic stat as you get further in the game. So
I feel like it's starting to open up now, and I'm getting more equipment, and I'm.
I will be very proud of you if you actually see this one to the end.
How does this is the story? I mean, okay, I know the story.
The story
good.
Yeah, it continues to build and it goes places for sure. But
the only thing I guess I'm like, I really like the kind of story it's telling. Obviously, because again, it's very Game of Thronesy and stuff. But like, it doesn't. As where I'm at right now, it doesn't feel very like Final Fantasy-y. Does it start to feel? I mean, I don't know. That's kind of weird.
It gets fantastical for sure. I mean, if you finish chapter 1, you haven't come back after the end of chapter 2 and tell me, because it gets pretty out there. But it is a Matsuno game, right? So it's going to feel more like Vagrant Story or Tactics Ogre in terms of that sort of thing. But it gets fantastic.
And everybody talks like the dialogue is really good, but it's all like very Shakespearean in the way. Like everybody but like it's cool. It's cool. I mean,
that is the vibe. I mean this is like the the pure fantasy Final Fantasy. But
see, like Tarkus in chat says it's as fantastical as Final Fantasy 12.
No, 12 is more,
like, if that's true, I'm not feeling that yet.
No, this is more grounded than like Final Fantasy 12. I mean, it's going to get fantastical, but 12 is got
that's all I'm saying.
Like,
I'm just hoping it becomes a little more fantastical, right? Because like the first book or first season of Game of Thrones, right, is kind of more just focused on like the political drama and like the low to the ground kind of stuff, and then it starts to like suddenly there's dragons, and then things start getting, and then you start learning more about the White Walkers and like all this stuff.
There.
I figured that was the case.
Take exception to that.
Okay, I knew you might, and I know I'm not qualified to make that statement, but it made sense in my head. I have a coworker, by the way, who's watching Game of Thrones for the first time. Never read the book, and that's an interesting experience. But so many years later. Anyways, I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna keep going. It's my Steam Deck game. It's my lunch game. I'm still playing Monster Hunter Stories 3 as well.
The music rips though, so make sure you're using headphones.
Oh yeah. Definitely. The music does rip. It's pretty good.
You're still trudging along with Stories 3. That's funny.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Even though we did that stream where I played Monster Hunter Stories 3 and then
you probably don't remember any of it.
Well, I do. I still don't think I still don't fully understand Like I thought I understood after we talked about how to do double attacks. I still can't fucking figure out how to trigger double attacks.
You can't watch a video. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, just watch a
it's
video.
driving me crazy. But it's fun. It's fun. I got my first Pokey yesterday. I love Pokies. Anyways,
is a good monster.
Let's talk about Star Fox.
Star Fox,
my favorite.
Can you believe I already finished it?
Yes, I can. It ain't exactly long.
So
you said you played it a few
Chris
times.
Davis. Well, I game played it. Well, Chris Davis, you bought this?
Yep.
You're a foxhead? You're a furry? What's going on?
You're a furry?
Star Fox
don't take the bait, Chris Davis.
Good video game.
It is a good video game, and this is not a new mainline Star Fox game. It is a remake, but
it is the remakiest remake.
It is very remakey, yes.
Yeah,
but it looks nice.
It's the prettiest version of Star Fox 64 you could ever make.
Well, that's not true. I mean, maybe in 2026.
Wait a second. Did I just see you use a bomb?
Yes.
That was underwhelming. Is
well,
the bomb lame?
The bombs are not as flashy as they used to be, but everything else.
That was my favorite
nice.
part.
There are some flashy parts that they've made things prettier with in this game, in this remake.
The bombs are like the one thing for sure that's more underwhelming. But yeah,
I mean, there's other things that can be underwhelming.
It's Star Fox 64. It was great.
Yeah,
I just remember like using the bombs in the 64 version,
blinding,
like this blinding and this huge explosion, and then I would always do like a,
it goes down to like 10 frames a second, and it's
I mean, but it was 1990s, whatever.
Yeah, which was cool.
It's still rough, dude. They're like F-Zero 64, F-Zero X or whatever. That game ran at like 60 frames a second. Okay, your N64 games did not have to run like shit. A lot of them did. It didn't have to be that way.
Oh, true. Well, yeah.
This game runs really well.
It does,
which is nice.
It's just
but it was like a problem that was solved in the 3DS version, right? So I don't know, or maybe that was 30 frames a second.
So does this remake do anything to like? I mean, aside from being a very pretty version of it, does it like do anything to kind of set itself apart from the?
Well, it adds more story and like
cutscenes
cutscenes and stuff with new characters. So I think Nintendo was planning to like have this be like the launching off point for new Star Fox games. Maybe like this is sort of like the basis going forward of what these characters look like and sound like.
Does that mean that like, because like so many of the previous Star Fox sequels or whatever, or games that have come out over the years on GameCube and Wii and whatnot, like they all try to do like weird things that aren't anything like Star Fox 64, and I don't feel like it's ever like caught on the way that 64 did. Are they just going to is this the future of Star Fox finally going back to like 64 style? Just be happy. I
guess, but like it's a little like making a rail shooter. Like I don't think they're ever going to make a rail shooter that's like super long. I mean, Star Fox Zero was still mostly a rail shooter, and it was a lot longer than 64. But I don't think even then it's still not like a super long game. I think you need to make a more modern like spacey dogfighting game. Like all range mode needs to be like the thing, right? But it needs to be more. I'm not saying make No Man's Sky, but you got to do more.
Maybe No Man's Sky. Hell yeah.
There is a perfect space game out there that they could model Star Fox on and make it amazing. It's a game called Chorus.
Chorus. Wait, it's a game called what?
Chorus. It is a game in which it is a third-person dogfighter in space, but the whole concept is that it's got these weird controls that are built around drifting around enemies and doing 3D kind of like spinning to target enemies, and it works, and it's really fucking cool, and it's got a very interesting mythology that they built into it, and nobody fucking bought and played it.
Well, then I don't think that's going to end up finding its way into Star Fox.
I mean, I understand that, but people should look up Chorus if you want if you want to see what like Star Fox could really be.
But I don't think Chorus is like very modern either, though. Like I think that's a very Starlink. What Bombardier chat brought up. Remember Starlink by Ubisoft had Star Fox characters like in it, and even had like a more dedicated DLC. That was a more open-ended like space shootery type game, right? Like a space dogfighter, right?
I mean, I can't speak to that one.
Starlink is the one where they had like the toy. It was like a
it was
like
the
a,
Ubisoft thing. They even had the Star Fox DLC. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I just never played.
But a rail shooter just seems kind of limited. But I mean, there are banger rail shooters.
Why am I looking at like a? I don't remember this from the original. Am I just forgetting something?
I mean,
Well,
they
you may have
added
not done this
cinematic
route.
intros, outros, and story.
Well,
elements.
this like humanoid mech that's floating through space. Like,
Oh no, that was in Sector
he's in
Y.
there. Yeah, you just maybe took a different. You were probably on the easy route most of the time.
I mean, I also have to be fully transparent here. I haven't played Star Fox 64 since it was on the 64.
I'm
what
telling
was
you,
unique
Nick,
about Star Fox 64 was all of like the alternate routes and stuff that you could by meeting certain conditions in a stage, you could like have go a different route, and do the hard route to get to the real ending and all that stuff, that sort of shit.
Nick, I'm telling you right now, like the only new stuff in this game is the cinematic story. Like every enemy spawn, every level design is exactly the same.
I mean, that's kind of what when we first saw this game in motion for the first time, I was like, I don't remember like a ton about Star Fox 64, but I'm pretty sure this is exact. like it looks so much like I remember. This
the
is
submarine stage is a lot better.
I mean, yeah, because it runs at 60 frames per second and not like 12.
But is it still a 1-to-1?
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm not sure actually on that one. Something feels different, but
how are people feeling now that the game is out?
But the vibe. I mean, the vibes are good though. I think people are happy with this project and they're happy with Star Fox.
People were losing their minds about the way the characters looked and sounded.
That was just initial reaction. The furries they've been jerking off to the same version of Fox for years and years and years. So to see all of a sudden like a slightly different one, it's just kind of off-putting at first. You know how that is.
I do. Yeah.
I
don't know. It's something.
I have a big complaint about this game.
Okay.
It
does not also apply to 64?
No, because it's down to the controls. The controls are not remappable. There is no alternate controls. You fire with the far right button, the A button or the B button, whatever it is on the fucking Switch controller, and then you launch bombs on the X. Now, naturally, when you are playing a game like this, or in like any fucking shooter whatsoever that's a rail thing, you're always pressing X, right? And you could reach over with your thumb to press the bomb button, okay? But no, all the primary fire is on the outside of
there are alternate
pad.
Control schemes.
No, there's not. There are not.
Shit.
Are you sure?
Are we about to fact check people live on the internet?
Please, if I'm wrong, please fucking fact check me and correct me, and I will own that. But like, I swear to God, the default control scheme for this game makes it to where it is a pain to button mash in this game. It is a pain to fire in general. Playing this game for an hour hurts your thumb because
that's like half the game. So, sorry,
but like it's all about the thumb positioning and how you press the button. Okay.
Hell yeah.
And for you to do the maneuvers, for you to slow down and boost and fire off a bomb. And so much of the time, the game encourages you to go for combos and charging up your shot before you fire it. Like, it just doesn't feel good.
You know what's crazy? Do you know why? So there's got to be all. I booted up Star Fox SNES, which does have
4 different
controls. 4 different control schemes. So maybe that's what I was thinking of, because I played some of that after I played this, and maybe that's what I'm thinking.
How does a modern video game release without the ability to?
I don't know if I believe him.
Control schemes?
Nintendo.
Somebody in chat. Somebody do the research in chat and let us know if this is accurate or not. But I mean, I do trust that Chris Davis probably spent an exorbitant amount of time looking for the ability to change that control scheme, because he's complaining about it. So I would imagine
it legitimately
at the very least. at the very least, if it is there, it's not very apparent or obvious. It's buried.
My hand was not hurting I played through it 3 times and did some of the challenge stuff.
You must not have that carpal tunnel.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, I absolutely believe that you should have options, but my hand was not hurting. I don't know. Maybe I'm not shooting fast enough. I mean,
maybe you're
there
not,
was the one level
mashing?
where
I
the
don't know.
fucking missiles are gonna hit the damn ship. That one still infuriates me. I don't
felt
understand.
so fucking easy, like so much easier than the original.
Because he's probably tapping like a crazy person. Maybe I wasn't shooting fast enough. My hand wasn't hurting.
I mean, it felt like it had the exact same spawn pattern for enemies. It did have the exact same spawns for the missiles coming in. So it's 1, then 2, then 3. But that's the only escalation. It's the exact same as it was previously. So with 60 frames per second.
It's a 1-for-1 remake. We knew this was a 1-for-1 remake when they announced it. They announced it as such, basically.
I get that, but at the same time, like, it is 2026, and I expect, at least since I have much better controls 25, 30 years on, I would expect to have a little bit more of an escalation.
You would think. Wing It in chat says that mission can be tough if you aren't blasting as hard as you can. It sounds like Chris Davis is blasting away and Brad is not.
Just blast.
So I started blasting.
Chris Davis is finger blasting this game.
Blasting his load.
Chris Davis is finger blasting Star Fox, and Brad is.
I will say.
Yeah. So
my kids are not Star Fox kids.
Bombardier has it in chat here. You can invert the y-axis, and you can turn on button combos to do your maneuvers, but you cannot remap the buttons.
Yeah, I mean that is still not. Yeah, that's definitely not the same thing as being able to remap the controls.
Do they have like at a system level? Maybe that's why they don't bother.
I mean, if it is, that feels kind of shitty.
Well, if you have a controller with like bumpers or whatever, or back buttons, you could just map the bombs and stuff to that. But
Yeah, but you got to have
somebody in chat did want to know about the multiplayer stuff. I don't really know what's going on with the multiplayer.
It's got online multiplayer, but the problem is there's just not enough maps, and like each mode is tied to like the map. It's cool, but it just seems woefully underdeveloped. Like they should have done more with it, and I think people would have been far more excited. You can't. I mean, it's too limited. It's neat that it's there. It is different from any of the multiplayer stuff from the original, but they didn't go far enough. But again, maybe they're just sort of testing the waters with this stuff. I mean, I'm glad it's not a full price game, because it doesn't feel like a full price game. It feels like a remake of a 64 banger. But
I don't want to open this can of worms again, because I feel like we've had this conversation. We had a very long conversation like on the podcast, but now we've played Star Fox. Have your expectations and opinions on what this Ocarina of Time remake are going to be? Has this had any impact on that for you? Is this set the like? Do you think it's going to be more or less than what this is in terms?
But
of
I mean, I don't think we know. But I mean, we just don't know.
It's all guesswork.
Yeah, but I mean, if Ocarina is this sort of thing, where it is the exact same game, but it looks a lot nicer, and then maybe they put a lot of like new cutscenes and stuff in it. I will say, having new cutscenes in this feels more like appropriate, weirdly, because it's all like mission briefing stuff and just some like back and forth between stages.
Yes.
I don't know if I want a bunch of new cutscenes in Ocarina of Time. That might feel a little.
I mean, it's not about like replacing, adding cutscenes. It's updating the already existing cutscenes in there to where they're more cinematic. There's more going on. Maybe there's voice acting.
Well, yeah. I mean, you would have to do that. Like that is the bare minimum. But I'm saying, like, if they're adding new stuff, this Velen Studio, the makers of Knockout City, that dodgeball multiplayer game. Sure, they're creating new. They're creating some new story moments for Star Fox. That's fine. I don't know if I'd be okay with them making new story moments for Ocarina of Time, because the story is more important to Ocarina than it is. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is it's fucking July, and I would sure like Nintendo to show this Ocarina of Time game.
I think we're all in the same boat on that one.
Yeah.
All right, we don't have to linger
like
on
the
that.
lava looks great in this stage.
Dang, look at that.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch 2 has power.
From the creators of Knockout City. That is weird. Does that mean, do you think this is going to be the developer that makes an original Star Fox game? I mean, this is like, but this is like age old, you've seen this countless times in this industry where they'll give
Mercury Steam says hello.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah. They'll give a remake to a new studio. And then if that goes well, then they'll let them make an original title. Which, it happened with Mercury Steam, but Mercury Steam did a lot more of an original take on a remake with Samus Returns. This is 2 1-for-1. So it's like the Bluepoint thing. Well, we can trust Bluepoint to make pretty visuals, but can we trust them to make an original new game? Maybe
we're never going to know the answer to that.
Yeah, well, we don't know the answer to that. Well, I guess we do know. Frankly, they canceled their game and closed down the studio, but
that doesn't mean anything in this industry. Okay, that doesn't.
It was God of War, so games as a service game. Well, maybe Bluepoint can make a good game, but it ain't that.
That wasn't that. Oh God, you just had me thinking of. Yeah, I thought of a question I was going to ask you about this, and then it's
just Star Fox. You could have finished Star Fox 64 in the time it took for us to talk about this.
You're not exactly wrong. I will say. One more thing I don't like about this game is that it feels like it's so much easier to shoot your wingmates. Like,
yeah, but I like that.
Well, no, I understand the appeal of that. The thing I'm talking about is that like the feedback for your combat and hitting enemies, in particular your wingmates, it's not very good at doing that sound effect and giving you that visual cue. So if you're trying to lead a shot for trying to hit an enemy, it's chasing your wingman, like you can end up very, very quickly and very easily shooting him down instead of the enemy.
You really are shooting way too fast. You're blowing up Slippy like that quick, man. You're try hard mashing on that fucking button, dude.
Oh,
I don't think I ever blew up one of my own teammates by accidentally shooting them. But you're like the gif of the dude gaming harder than what's that? What's the name of that gif? The dude,
the one where he's doing all
the sweaty gamer.
Yeah, he's doing like all the capture shit, and at the end he's like baking a cake or some shit.
But like, look at this! Look at this boss fight. The animation for like indicating that you are doing damage. It's very slight, and there's almost no sound effect to indicate that I'm doing damage.
That's true. I saw some complaints, but I kind of like that because I think it's a little too obvious in the original. The weak.
I mean, honestly, this is not surprising considering how they handled the bomb situation. I know,
but true. But I mean, it shouldn't be so obvious. You should have to try to like figure it out a little. There was no figuring it out in the original Star Fox. It was always very obvious when you were hitting a weak point and all that. So I don't know. I'm a little on the fence about that. But
my question I was going to ask, and this actually has nothing to do with Star Fox. It's more building off of the conversation about Mercury Steam and this team or whatever. But like, can somebody remind me who's making the new Castlevania? Is it the Dead Cells team?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Sorry. Totally unrelated. Just the thought popped into my head. Okay. We can move on. But yeah.
Dude, I was in a board game shop, and do you know they made a Dead Cells board game?
Yeah.
That's out of line. What are they doing?
Hey,
that's inappropriate.
If I could make my own board game, like I'd fucking do it.
Everyone's making a board game.
Because Slay the Spire did it.
What? No, but see, that's something that's appropriate. Like Dead Cells has no business being a fucking board game. It's absurd.
Bloodborne's a board game.
Yeah, but
that's true.
That's
Resident Evil 2 and 3 are board games.
Dark Souls, Elden Ring, all board games. But
you're saying like legendary like franchises or whatever. Dead Cells is like a singular like sweaty action roguelike. That has nothing to do with board games. or like
really
it's like
it doesn't even have
it's like
enough
if
of a
Bloober
it
made
doesn't even have enough of
Chronos
like there's not even
a
enough
board
lore and universe. Like it just
lore.
does.
He's a lore guy now, you guys.
I'm saying you got it. There has to be a line for like maybe this shouldn't be a board game. If Dead Cells can be a board game, then literally anything can be a board game.
The
And I think
line
there should be a fucking line.
the line exists.
I
The
think
line
someone
is
should keep
can it
that
make
game.
money?
Okay, can I say the box was way too big for a Dead Cells board game? It should not have been that big of a box.
He bought it. He totally bought it.
No, it doesn't make sense. It should be like a deck of cards, maybe. The Dead Cells game, you know, fast pace. You know, it was like the box was huge. Fucking Dead Cells. What?
Was it a Fantasy Flight game? Is that why the box was huge?
I don't know. I didn't look at it that hard. I just know it said Dead Cells and the box was enormous, and that was absurd.
Okay, moving on. Brad, you had another game you want to talk about this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, probably way cooler than the last two games we talked about, especially Battle.
Way cooler than your favorite game of all time that I'm now playing.
That's the joke, but whatever. I've been
By
playing.
the way, I told my wife that because she asked, she walked in, she's like, "What are you playing now?" Because I had just finished playing and starting Tactics, and she's like, "What is this?" I was like, "Final Fantasy Tactics. This is Brad's favorite game of all time."
Yeah.
she
And what
looked at
did
it,
what did Robin say? Easy, Robin. I want to hear it, you mummy loving freak. What's bad about my favorite game of all time?
How disappointed
this
was
is also-
Robin?
just to be clear, she also called Mina the Hollower pixelated nonsense, and then turned around and bought Mina the Hollower because she thought she was watching me have fun. So like all of this is said in jest, but she's like looking at like let's just say she had a raised eyebrow when she was watching me play this. But that's not unusual. That's not unusual, and she's usually just watching to see how much fun I'm having.
Didn't know you were married to a graphics hoe, but you're one of them too, Nick. So you just
we're two peas in a pod. We're both graphics whores. Except I'm over here defending pixelated nonsense, quote unquote.
That's true. Well, so is she playing Mina now, or
no? She bought it, took her Switch with her on the trip that we went on. Never touched her Switch, so she still hasn't started Mina. But she's going to. But you know, she was reading a book and she got super invested in that. So
did you tell us
we went to Colorado? Dude, I went to Colorado and in the course of 4 days did more sports related stuff than I've ever done in my life. I went to 4 middle school softball games, a Rockies baseball game, and I watched 2 World Cup games. Like,
wait, who won the Rockies game?
The Rockies is cool, but
the Rockies.
Oh, there you go. But the middle school games, that had to have been boring as hell.
It was the whole impetus for our trip was family members who were competing in a softball tournament. And
wait, you have a family member who plays for the Rockies?
No. No, definitely not.
Middle school.
Not. Yeah, this is middle school. But I did learn a lot about softball, and it was aside from the fact that it got stupid hot. I was expecting the temperatures to be like way chiller.
No way, man! You're up on a mountain. You're closer to the sun.
El Nino, motherfucker.
I was sweating
El
balls.
Nino.
I was in the shade, but I was still sweating balls the entire time. But yeah, I watched 4 softball games.
That sounds so boring. TerraTech Legion.
Speaking of boring,
Tech Legion. Did
I
you
see
say
this on the
that?
Steam family.
I'm
you
kidding.
know what?
I know nothing about this.
Well, this is absolutely not a game that you'd play, but I could see Chris Davis or Crispy playing it. This is a Vampire Survivors.
Yep,
game,
you lost me.
Yep.
You lost me.
Oh,
but
Nick.
So take Vampire Survivors
vehicle.
meets Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Nuts and bolts in it.
So when you're leveling up and you do your little pick 3 or whatever, you're picking pieces that you are now putting on your vehicle. And those things can range from, weapons to like just actual like vehicle pieces. So you can kind of build like new shapes and stuff to hold more things. And you're all kinds of like lasers and like missile pods and all the kinds of things you would want from a Vampire Survivors type game. But it's a very physicsy, like in Vampire Survivors, you never want to touch the enemy. This, you're playing a vehicle that you absolutely want to like drive through a crowd of little bots, right? Like, you know,
This looks like the best Vampire Survivors thing. The best.
Oh, Nicholas.
okay, easy, buddy.
This is my jam. This
This
is
does
more my
look
speed.
cool.
It does look cool, and I'm kind of showing you the start of a thing where I'm just kind of adding little bits here and there as I level up. But later, you know, you start running out of room, and you start having to build like portions of vehicle just to like have places to put all your different weapons and lasers and stuff. The feedback is like immediately satisfying. Like it feels good to run things over. The way your different weapons and stuff are popping off feel really good. And like I hate to say that's kind of all there is to it because but you know what it is, right? It's a vamp, like all your weapons, they auto shoot, right? But they have different like ranges and they have different attributes but also you have to like take into consideration like where you're putting it on your vehicle, because there are some weapons that will like I have like a mining laser or whatever, and it will target 360 degrees around me, right? But if I have like parts and stuff that are in the way of that 360 degrees, it shows me like on the circle of range, it'll show like blocked off and like with red like portions cut out, like, oh, this angle is being blocked by some shit that's on the same level on your vehicle, right? So you're having to put like your 360 degree stuff like higher on the vehicle, so other stuff's not interfering with its ranges, so it can auto target everything around surrounding you, right? Like so taking that stuff into consideration is nice, but it's not like overly try hard with like the physics and stuff, where, you know, some of these games where you're building vehicles, if you're building it a little off balance or whatever, then all of a sudden your vehicle doesn't function very well, or it's just falling over or falling apart. It's not taking it that seriously. So like aside from like blocking ranges and stuff, and you know, like handling and like tire grip and acceleration, that is tied to like the parts you put on, but not exactly like the
configuration,
the physics of the craft itself. But you do feel the difference when you start putting on like stuff that dramatically is changing your stats. I don't know if you could see with what I'm doing here, or y'all might even be at a different place in the video, but I'll like raise up a laser so it has more clearance, so it can shoot all around me and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
I will say that, I kind of like that it's not too, you know, in depth with the physics, because while that can be fun in this type of game, you just want to like level up, get new weapons, make sure you have enough power to like actually boost through hordes of enemies quickly, or like when you start coming across bosses and they have like area of attack ranges, you don't want to get caught in their bullshit, so you don't want to be too lumbering of a slow vehicle that you can't get out of the way of like really deadly stuff. There are multiple characters to unlock as well. Like this is a character who's very defensive. So you do a lot of like impact weapon types where you're like the front, you can attach like melee type stuff like grinders and rollers and like bulldozers and stuff to the front of the vehicle, and like they also do like damage. But like this vehicle is kind of designed through just driving through hordes of enemies, while like a character I unlocked later is very like fast and nimble and has like more range based stuff, essentially like the sniper type character of the crew or whatever. And that one is a little more tricky. I'm still trying to figure that out, because it's pretty easy to get swarmed by the enemy, especially when you're fighting like bosses and stuff. That like tank like is definitely something that feels useful, and this is definitely the character that you can play as that's the most tank like of the few. But like in Vampire Survivors, you have like a meta progression, like where you're spending points in a skill tree, which is kind of like the stats and stuff that you level up in Vampire Survivors, where like it's impossible to win your first run of a game like this because your character's just not strong enough yet. But because I've been using this character more often, when I try to switch to the other characters and I have not invested in their skill trees, I'm like, well, they just feel a lot weaker. But they feel a lot weaker because I've not been investing in their skill trees. So it's a little weird to need to go back to like level up their skill trees to see if they're any good when they are closer to maxed out. But it's a little awkward. I kind of wish you can like refund all the skill points for one character and just dump them into another character's skill tree, but it doesn't work like that. But because the game is fun and addictive, like this genre often is, I'm kind of happy just to play a bunch more with the other characters because it's just fun to play. Because I don't know, it feels good to run things over and to shoot things, and all the effects and stuff for that feel really nice, and you know, you could put tank treads and shit on your vehicle, and it makes it to where like maybe they're not as fast, but they turn a lot easier and stuff like that. I don't know. It's neat. I love Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts. I kind of wish it got more complicated, but it makes sense they keep it somewhat simple, because if you spent more time like you level up quickly like you would do in other games in this genre. So if you spent too much time, like the balance would be off if it was any more complex than it is. Because you would spend too much time not playing the game, and then you get back into the game, you level up, and you'd be already back here. Even now, if you're just watching this, it probably already seems like
more in depth than it needs to be, or
more in depth than it needs to be. But it's so fun to add new little bits on your vehicle that I definitely don't mind. And I'm probably leveling up faster than I normally would, because I went back to an earlier stage with like a character that's really leveled up. When you first start out, you don't really level up quite this fast. But I don't know. It feels nice to. I mean, it's a neat idea. You know, it's like, why has no one done this yet?
It's still a relatively young genre of game, I feel like.
No, not anymore, dude. No. Like the clones come fast.
For like 4 or 5 years easily.
There's been a bunch of them now.
They come fast.
Did you play the mech one?
Which
Vital Shell?
Oh, I did. That one's a lot more simple than this. That one's very simple.
Remember.
Yeah. I had it on the podcast. I did talk.
Oh yeah, we did talk about this.
That one's neat, but it's very simple. This is
a more involved,
a different kind of vibe. This IP is there's an existing game called TerraTech or just TerraTech on Steam, and I think it's more just like it's not a Survivors like. They just took that engine and made a Survivors game with that engine. I think it came out years ago or several years ago. I think it was just like an open world like strategy game or something. But they turned it into a Survivors like, and I think it's doing a lot better than that original game did. But I love that. It keeps reminding me that Blizzard still has not made a Survivors game with Diablo or fucking do
seems
StarCraft.
Like it's only a matter of time.
But I mean, like they should have done it like 2-3 years ago, man.
Like, could have funded all of their future projects.
When you already have like a really good engine that's designed to handle like a lot of enemies on screen, like you're wasting time by not dropping everything to work on a Survivors game, because these are very popular and they're very addictive, and you don't have to worry about all the other bullshit. You just get in there and just enjoy crunching up enemies. And Diablo's already good at that, except they made it not as good. They made it like, all busy.
Careful, tangent. We don't need to go on a Diablo tangent.
I do want to ask, like, one of the great appeals of Vampire Survivors and games like that is that there's a quick turnaround time of getting back into the action once you've leveled up and feeling powerful. In watching you have to create your vehicle, I like the idea. I do. I'm worried about longevity of the execution. So the thing I want to ask is that, like, can I do like blueprints with my leveling up? Is that a thing?
I don't actually know. I mean, like not from what I've played. I don't think I have not gotten to the point where I'm unlocking blueprints. Although in your skill tree, you unlock like a more advanced versions of the base vehicle, like you start as you kind of level up that skill tree. Like this vehicle does not look like the one that this character had with the empty skill tree. Like it and as you keep leveling up, you start with maybe weapons and stuff already on it, or different like chassis and whatnot. But you're always kind of putting the pieces on as you go.
Because it feels like every 30, 45 seconds you're upgrading.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was concerned that, and it doesn't need to be like, you can really just stick it anywhere if you're not being too picky.
That's what she said. Sorry.
But like the truth is, like I enjoy doing that stuff. So I'm never like, oh, I really want to get back into the action. No, I want to like maximize like the placement of all of my pieces. Like I unlocked a new set of wheels, and god damn it, I'm gonna find a place to put extra wheels on this because I want more wheels, because more wheels gives me more like grip and acceleration, even when it doesn't make sense. Yes, and power and stuff. So it's like I'm gonna keep building out this thing to unlock more places to put wheels. You can never have too many wheels, damn it.
I appreciate that idea. I'm just like, a game of Vampire Survivors or anything like that is typically like 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes if you're pausing. No,
the runs are still very short. They're still very short. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, like it goes quick. I've played a lot of Survivor-like games, Chris Davis. Like it's refreshing to have one that is a little bit different, because the genre can get very samey. Yeah, I think you would get really into it just because it's like driving through things. It feels a little like Blast Core, like driving lumbering vehicles through.
That's a good way to convince me something. That's not a deep cut.
I mean, just try it out.
It's not a deep cut.
Also, you know what's also crazy? This game, I bought it for like $7 because the other thing about the genre is like Vampire Survivors set such a low like cost bar, for video indie games, and maybe that sucks, but like what it has led to is that you're never gonna find like a Survivors like game that's more than $10 because it just would be blasphemous, right? And it's a little unfair, maybe pay indie devs what they're worth, but I'm not mad.
I mean, it's also probably selling more than...
I saw trailers of this game and I was like, this looks so sick, but what is this going to be, another $25 to spend on an indie game? And when I saw the shit was $7, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Instant buy.
It's got to be a situation where it's like they're making less per copy because they're selling it so cheap, but because they're selling to so many more people,
yes, absolutely,
they're building their audience, and they're building up their audience for their next game. I feel
not even that, dude. It's just math, right? They're selling way more, like indie games these days. It's so brutal out there.
I'm just saying, I don't think there's
games indie games that are in development for years. They come out and they sell like fucking 200 copies or whatever.
I'm just saying, I don't think they're necessarily feeling the hurt of selling it for less because they're selling so many more. Like,
absolutely. That's exactly it.
All right. Yeah. Guys, we need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the bad news. Or the Microsoft and Sony both have some... It's a mess. It's a hot mess. We'll come back. We'll talk about it, and then we'll wrap up. It'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Short break.
Everything's going to be fine. Stick with us, though. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. All right, let's go. As mentioned at the top of the show, I'm sure most of you are already aware, some bad shit has been happening in the industry. The past 3 podcasts we've done, we've had nothing but bad news about layoffs and potential cancellations and closures, but a lot of shit has transpired since our last recording, which again was 2 weeks ago. We did talk about GTA 6 being announced as a digital-only title. Which immediately I think prompted the conversation of how quickly do you think other people are going to follow suit with this? Are people looking to GTA 6 to kind of set the tone?
So many of these industry decisions that are going to be happening now and in the near future are people just waiting to see what was going to happen with GTA.
Yeah.
I think not necessarily Xbox, but the Sony stuff. Obviously as a console manufacturer, all of these people were just like waiting. I mean, like it feels inevitable, right? Like physical going away. Nintendo with the key cards, right?
I mean,
like
we've been
Xbox
saying
tried to do it last generation, and that didn't work out.
They,
Nintendo, like full games have not been on discs for a very long time. You look at other media, it feels inevitable. I think Sony has been planning this.
Yeah, I don't think
and I think after seeing that GTA was going to be digital only,
they're just like,
that's the biggest game in the world. Like if they're not going to be on a disc, then nothing needs to be on a disc. That's the way I think. That's how these corporations see it, and you know what? They're probably right. That's the sad reality. But
I mean, okay. First of all, we haven't quite said it yet, but the specific headline we're talking about here is that Sony PlayStation has come out and announced that January 2028 is when they are ceasing production on physical game discs.
They're saying their next console is not going to have a disc option, is what they're saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, of course. I mean, if there's no, this is the, whether you like it or not, or whether or not the world is ready for it, it seems like it's happening. Unlike the last time they threatened this to happen, which was E3 however many years ago. I don't even remember when Don Matrick made that shitty offhanded comment, right?
You want to play a game offline? We have a system for that. It's called the Xbox 360.
Yeah, and now it's just kind of, I mean, I think the question still is kind of like, is the world's internet infrastructure
It's not even about that. That's not the problem.
Yeah, it's
the problem.
I mean, there's a lot of problems.
No. There's
a lot of problems.
That is a problem. That's getting figured out. The problem is ownership. Because when you buy a digital product, no matter what it is, you are buying a license that can be revoked. Sony 3 weeks ago revoked 500 movies from UK owners who had paid for it. Okay, they were not rentals.
Right.
Those were
they bought those
movies.
That's so fucked up.
I'm not arguing against that. You're absolutely right. But I will say that for a long time now, physical discs are not, when it comes to games especially, because games are so much bigger than, like, it's not the same thing as buying a movie on a disc necessarily, because it's the file size required for some of these games is so massive.
Done. It's on the disc. Yeah.
It's on the disc, but like the actual product you're playing on day one is half of it's not on the disc.
Yeah, that's not ownership.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, it is true. Very few games.
For a game that is over 50 gigabytes, sure. But not a whole lot of games actually are fucking 50 gigabytes in the grand scheme of things.
The games we're talking about, dude, I don't know. I would say the vast majority of like AAA games that have come out over the past 2-3 years have been close to, if not over 50 gigabytes each.
Not to mention that, like,
they're massive.
Without a day one patch, some games are like broken as shit, right?
Yes.
It's not like
it's what I'm saying is physical disc ownership is not real ownership. It's comforting. Like, it makes me feel like
it's more than comforting. Look.
It is more real ownership than digital ownership. Let's to be clear.
Sure.
Like, I can sell a physical disc copy to someone, and if they have the system to play it, they can use it immediately without having to redeem some kind of digital fucking bullshit. With a digital thing, you can't trade that. You cannot do that within a closed ecosystem like Xbox, like Microsoft, like Nintendo.
Yeah,
like Sony.
The problem is physical going away kills, like, it finishes off GameStop, right?
Yeah.
Like, it kills GameFly.
It kills the secondhand market in general.
Which is terrible, because a lot of people are introduced. No, I don't think that's their goal at all. I don't think they care about the secondhand market.
No, Sony specifically did say that they wanted that.
That they want the second. Well,
that they want the secondhand market to go away.
Yeah, but I don't think that Sony loses money because a secondhand market exists. Because I think people who can buy affordable games on the secondhand market, they just become gamers, right? I think this is more about the fact that if Sony sells their games on a digital store, they get all 70 of those dollars. And when they press a disc and sell it through Walmart, they're getting a lot less. And
that's
I think
true.
that is way more of a...
I don't think it's way more. I don't think it's way more because, I mean, look at the entirety of like how the global economy works nowadays. Look at the rise of things like venture capital firms gutting different franchises. It's because margins have gotten so slim that anything they can do to increase their profit is making the line go up, because now it's harder and harder and harder as time goes on for that line to keep going up. So they're at a point, or they're getting to a point, where like killing a secondhand market would be huge for them. Killing the ability to have people be able to trade games or sell games or archive their own games, which is something you can't do if you don't have.
These companies are much more concerned about the short term right now because the cost of everything is just a disaster, right? Everything's on fire. Everything's too expensive.
Yeah, that is the short term. And they already shut down their main manufacturing plant in Europe, the one that's in Portugal, I think, and have already like started reassigning work for that. So I mean, like, this isn't a thing where like a bunch of people commenting online complaining about this are going to make them change their mind. Like, this is a foundational. Like,
but this really and truly like chases off the rest of the casual market who are just already playing Roblox and Fortnite and stuff on their phones, because everyone has phones. They're going to keep having phones. No one's going to keep buying consoles, and barely people can afford PCs, right? So
when
this whole
so
thing,
much of gaming is based around the concept of, I will sell you a game and then I will sell you content to go with that game. Like, at least with the used market, you may not get $70, $80 on a base purchase if you buy it physical, or if you're selling it physical, but you might still get that extra amount of money from people who buy used and decide that they want this extra content. They want this DLC.
You're talking about the old ways. We're so far from like Sony getting any money from like GameStop sales,
like charging people for online passes and stuff. Like when you bought Mass Effect 2 and you had to pay extra for a code if you got the pre-owned version, so that you could use the online shit and get like extra armor or whatever. The whole like, I don't know. You guys have stuck your head outside lately, right? You've seen what's going on. Like, we're in a complete K-shaped economy, and what's happening in gaming is just a really high-profile example of what's happening in every single sector. And that is that prices are going up, quality is going down, because these companies can charge those prices for these things, because everything is just now gearing towards richer people. The middle class is going away. They're saying like Disney the other day was talking about how they experienced more growth in the last year than they ever had, but now there are fewer like children going to Disney parks. It's the majority of their clientele now are like childless adults. Everything, the focus of every business is shifting towards richer and richer audiences who are willing to pay exorbitant amounts and pricing people out of the middle class. Gaming just isn't like gonna be a middle class hobby. It's gonna, like, you know what I mean?
Well, it will be, but just not it just doesn't look like what it has looked like for us growing up, right? It's
I mean,
free games on phones. That's gaming.
Yeah, games where like the whole point of it is to steal your data and sell it. Like, and sell you real currencies for gotcha Skinner box mechanics.
I mean,
but like games
Roblox
like
and Fortnite. I mean,
games like As We Knew It, definitely are going to become more of a luxury.
even GTA Online, I think they're going to struggle in a way that, I mean, obviously they're going to sell hundreds of millions, probably, right? But I think GTA Online is going to struggle in a way that it didn't before, because they're not on a phone, right? GTA Online is not on phones, right? I don't think it's not gonna be, right? And GTA coming out is what causes people to go to the stores to buy consoles, and I think they're gonna realize that a lot of people can't afford them now. and I think they're going to sell less copies.
I mean, basically, this is turning
Up front,
this is
they're
going
gonna
to turn
sell
the whole industry is basically like consoles are now just slightly more affordable PCs. That's really
yeah. I mean, $800
and
as the entry point.
I put
Like,
slightly. I mean, considering there
Yeah.
are people, you know, to get a really high end PC, you're probably going to spend $1,500 to $2,000, maybe more.
High
depending on
end
what
these
you-
days? No, it's like 3 to 4.
So, yeah, okay.
It's
So there you go.
not.
I'm just
I
saying,
mean,
like, it's not
not
affordable. Like consoles are not affordable, but it's basically just saying, hey, you can have a PC gaming experience for much less. Like the positioning of consoles is just shifting, and it's going like. I was also obviously I was a person until probably within the last year and a half that like if they had made this announcement then, I would have had a meltdown because I was like, I care so much about physical ownership of games. I have now that this is happening, I am actually quite relieved that I have long since come to terms with the fact that I do 90% of my gaming digitally anyways. And
you're talking about this as a collector. and a
Please,
game
may I
player.
lick the boot again, Daddy?
No. I don't think this is a good thing. I don't think this is a good thing at all. I'm just saying on my own from my perspective,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
not
Daddy,
having-
I got your shoes all mucky. May I please?
I'm not
lick them
having-
clean?
like not a lot is going to change for me personally. But like this is a dramatic shift that is not going to go down easy.
But I mean, GTA is coming
Just in
out
general.
in a few months, and there is no video game on.
How many of those
There's
people-
no physical video game.
I do
So-
have to ask, I just as a a devil's advocate here, like how many of those people who are super upset right now about this announcement are going to turn around and begrudgingly buy GTA 6 because it's GTA 6,
Yeah.
play it, have the time of their lives, and then go, maybe
Dude.
I don't really care so much about
No,
it.
No, you're absolutely correct. That is exactly what's going to happen. And GTA has such a huge reach. You're gonna have people buying it who don't pay any attention to any of this stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they also a lot of these people already have PS5s though. Like we're pretty late in like the current console generation. It's more like what happens next that's scary because now if you don't have one, they're too expensive and they're only getting more expensive. And is it going to be worth it next go around? I think Rockstar is like resting easy on the fact that there's already like I don't know how many, like 80 million fucking PS5s out there. They're going to be fine in the short term. You know, people are going to have the hardware they need to play GTA Online. But next go around, I think
I have a question.
video games look a lot different.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, and this is coming, this question is, as someone who knows, admittedly, next to nothing about the actual like production process of like the cost of making consoles and how they figure all this shit out. And like obviously we talk a lot about like the chip shortage and all this shit, right? Is it reasonable to think or maybe hope that with not having to spend all the money they're making on to produce discs,
Ratchet effect.
that it has the opposite effect on hardware costs eventually?
No, that hardware costs are going to continue to go up. They're
Nick,
never going to go back down again. No,
Nick, you need to understand the ratchet effect. Once you get people to pay X amount of money for something once, you never have to go below that.
Yes.
Right. That's how video games went from $50 to $60
and
to $70
I could have
and now
sworn
probably $80. Yeah.
I could have sworn I read a report a few days ago that said that pressing a Blu-ray disc, a double layer Blu-ray disc, like what the PS5 uses, is like 5 to 7 cents per disc.
But the cost of producing
the
the disc is
building
more,
and the
but
people that make those.
yes, the building and the people they pay to do those tasks are
And the
going
shipping
away.
of moving those
Yes.
discs from the building
Yes.
to different parts of the world.
Getting
Hey,
them into
apropos
stores.
of nothing, I'm pretty sure we launched another strike against Iran yesterday. So like we're not in a
Yeah.
ceasefire yet. So if you
Yeah.
think that like
He's declared the ceasefire is over.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like
What a shit show.
if you're still clinging on to like I hope things go back to normal.
I'm not.
Nope.
Look, I don't
Nope.
want there to be any. I don't want people coming at me
In
thinking
no
that
aspect
that's
of,
the way I
of
feel.
modern life are things gonna go back to normal.
No, it's only a new normal, and the question is how fucked up or not fucked up is that new normal?
But like,
Like,
I'm going to go back to my original gripe in ownership. Since current legislation doesn't give a shit about licenses and terms and has not punished these companies for revoking the money you spent and not offering you a refund for this shit. When you die one day, are you content with knowing that your library of thousands of video games do not go to your next of kin? That your family doesn't get to own your shit?
Am I content with
that? Is so funny.
Because that's
a
basically
wild turn.
what you're fucking saying.
This is as I buy the next game on the Steam sale. This is for legacy. This is an heirloom I'll leave to my children. My sons will play fucking Timberborn one day.
Our legacy Steam family.
Dude, do
you honestly not give a shit?
I mean, I don't.
Dude,
my digital libraries?
I think they're gonna melt us all in vats of acid before we even get to that point. I mean,
my video game collection is not something I've ever thought about in terms of like who gets it when I die. Like, but then again, I also don't have children.
Like, I think
so
we're
like,
so Chris Davis. I think we're so desensitized to it because we're already at a world where like we're coming away from physical products that we buy, and even before they killed that, those physical products were so shitty that they wouldn't survive to another generation anyway. Like all of my Alanis Morissette CDs are gonna be totally playable by
all
my children in 30 years.
Fucking laser readers are falling apart, man.
Like I can't even keep an iPhone or a fucking Samsung working right for 5 years. Nothing in this world is meant to last. Nothing in this world is meant to be generational anymore. Generational wealth is gone. We are locked out of it. We lost. We're done.
Yeah, but he's been buying bougie boutique.
He bought a house.
Super Nintendos or whatever that play Super Nintendo games.
I mean, Chris, do you think your children or your children's children are going to live in your house?
I would fucking hope so.
Okay, well, first of all, I mean, a house is not a digital product, so I was about to say something like they can't revoke access to your house, but I was like, that's probably not true.
Invest in gold now. Start burying gold all over your hometown.
Dude, I got Chrono Trigger right.
I'm joking.
Henry can just play it when I'm dead. It's fine. So I don't care if he sells
Guys, this conversation, like, I don't know if I can handle another conversation like this. We're about to switch gears and talk about Microsoft, and it's just as shitty over there.
Can you put your Steam library in your will? Do they even let you do that?
Every time we talk about industry news, like we just need to be like an economics and politics podcast because that's all it is. We are witnessing localized symptoms of massive societal problems.
Yes. Honestly,
how do you two-factor authenticate from heaven, Chris Davis? when your kids need your Steam guard code,
just what is the truth?
You might put the password in your will, but only you from heaven can authenticate.
Look, Can
let's talk about Xbox.
Here's the thing. Let me get angry at something else, please.
Okay, can I just say
Microsoft talking to the Fed today? Wait.
Oh God.
Can I just say, first of all, I am obviously also I want to be clear. I am also of the opinion that everything is falling apart. Everything is shit. I hate this decision, but I will say this.
My favorite
You'll be a lot happier when you're not hyper focused on what it means to own something.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, okay.
I mean,
if you're gonna
especially
get all
something
Buddhist on us.
Buddhist, come on.
I'm not trying to be.
Some people don't even own their physical bodies, so
I'm just trying. I'm just trying to say that a year and a half ago, this would have ruined my year, my day, my week, my month, my year. I would have been devastated and been like, this is it. This is the end. I'm not playing video games anymore.
And now you're desensitized.
And now I'm desensitized to it. I hate it. I hate that it's actually happening, because there are a lot of people that are going to be. I am more upset about the fact that people are going to be losing jobs and like they don't give a shit about the fact that like what this really means is that they're firing a bunch of people. They're closing a bunch of factories.
Speaking of, hey, check this headline out. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma. Heard of her? Have you guys ever heard of her?
Yes.
Asha Sharma named advisor to U.S. Federal Reserve Task Force for Productivity and Jobs. And guess what her recommendation was?
AI.
You can fire a bunch of people and get AI agents to do their jobs.
Sick.
Oh my god, I fucking hate.
I mean, honestly though, could AI do any worse of a job at Kiln than Double Fine?
Hey, they get to be an independent studio again, don't they?
All right, let's shift. Let's shift gears.
That option. It's
On the other side of the aisle, we have Microsoft, who we've been talking about the impending layoffs, cancellations, studio closures for weeks. We knew it was coming in July. Their quote unquote restructuring has officially been revealed. They've laid off 3,200 people.
No, they've not.
Across the. Is it grown?
Half. No.
It's
half
later.
Which is
crazy. So we don't know when the second
even
half
worse.
They haven't fired those people yet.
So they fired half of that, and then the other half they just know is going to be coming.
How does that work? In Xbox, under Xbox, like this is the game side, right? They fired 1,600 and 1,600 over the next year. How do you make a video game knowing that 1,600 of you are losing their jobs and you don't know who?
I don't know. You're thankful for the few paychecks you still have left.
Yes. But I mean, are you gonna crunch? Are you gonna?
I mean, if I thought there's a chance I wasn't gonna
help. Okay, so
no, that's the point. That's the joke.
But you still want to work in this industry, so
no one's gonna make anything under Microsoft right now. Like fuck that, dude. That's horrifying.
So let's run down what has actually happened. So
yes, go for it.
The end of Microsoft's fiscal year was in June. It was in June. July was the start of it. And that is always when they start announcing their layoffs and bullshit like that for the next fiscal year.
Right.
They are selling to undisclosed buyers, Ninja Theory and Undead Labs. Undead Labs, by the way, State of Decay 3 is more wishlisted than either the new Halo or the new Gears game, which that's fucking weird, but whatever. And then they are letting go independent Compulsion Games and Double Fine. Now, we don't know who the buyers are yet for Ninja Theory and. I have ideas of who that could be. We don't know yet. They'll announce that probably at the end of the month. So, on the face of it, that is a best possible outcome scenario for the nightmare that we've been expecting this to be. The real fucking problem is that we are still learning where all those other 1,600 layoffs are happening, and every single day it gets fucking worse. We now know that Arcane Leon is currently in negotiations with Microsoft to see about their future. They are under threat of being shut down because Blade got delayed. And the only thing that's saving them right now are French labor laws, which are very stringent about layoffs. We learned yesterday that they have gutted id Software. They have laid off
crazy.
Over half the team. They have laid off over 136 people just at id from 185, meaning they're down to 49 people, and that's not even enough to run a support studio. They have laid off their entire coding engine team. So id Tech Software, id Engines, that's a thing of the past. You're never going to play a fucking Doom game again from them. You're not going to play any games from them again because they no longer have the personnel to make these fucking video games. Also,
correct.
Of all these ZeniMax layoffs that have happened, because it wasn't just id, they also hit Bethesda Game Studios Austin, which hurt Elder Scrolls Online. And I believe they have also hit Bethesda themselves. They have also hit Obsidian. Obsidian has lost 25% of their personnel, including legacy, legendary game designers and narrative designers. Okay, they have done these layoffs.
They canceled an unannounced project from Obsidian.
They canceled an avowed sequel.
And Obsidian has shipped 6 games for Microsoft.
Of the
right?
146 layoffs that happened yesterday of ZeniMax, of the 158 layoffs that hit ZeniMax yesterday, 146 of them were union jobs.
Oh yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Yeah. But like, can we go back to Obsidian for a second? Yes. Outer Worlds 1 and 2, Avowed, 2 Grounded games, and Pentiment. Literally 6 games they've shipped for Microsoft, and they're like, they cut a quarter of them and told them to make a Fallout game.
The irony of this is that, like, for years and years, people have been like, "Oh my God, just let Obsidian make a Fallout game again. New Vegas is amazing."
And now we're getting
now we're getting that, but like in the worst possible way imagining.
Told her that that's what they need to do.
And the thing is, the layoffs aren't fucking done. The news keeps happening. We don't know about a lot of other ZeniMax. We don't know a lot about the rest of Activision or Xbox Game Studio stuff. They have been dead fucking silent about Machine Games, and that scares the shit out of me.
Where's Machine Games based?
Machine Games, I think they're in Sweden, I think.
Yeah, so they probably are dealing with some like
I mean, maybe
labor laws, European.
But here's the thing: is that when Xbox came out and they did one of their many PR kerfuffles in saying that, oh, this just means that we're going to reprioritize on our key brands. They were talking about their key brands being Fallout and Elder Scrolls and Doom, which is never going to happen, and Quake, which is probably never going to happen, and Wolfenstein. They dropped Wolfenstein, but we know fucking nothing about what is happening at Machine Games. We know fucking it is dead. They have just effectively gutted one of the most historic development houses in the history of video gaming. The entire industry
Microsoft's done that before.
The entire industry would be radically different if id Software never existed.
If we ever get another Doom game at this point, it's going to like scope, like size and scope it's gonna feel like a return to like classic Doom. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be such a smaller project, which honestly, like, I don't see a way forward in this industry anymore. And if with all these things that are happening at the same time, and the number of people who are being cut or leaving the industry, and I don't see a way forward without the scope of like, or what people consider to be AAA games, without that scope being scaled back, which is honestly something that people have been asking them to do for years, because, like, Lord knows, we constantly bitch about how big and how unnecessarily big games are.
We want games to be cheaper and uglier, and we're not kidding. Or what's the quote?
I want smaller games with worse graphics made by developers who are better paid
more. They're paid more.
Made slower.
And I'm not kidding.
Yeah. I mean, that's all valid, but like, I don't know. It's depressing.
We're all the sandwich kid right now. The I'm laughing. You know, the kid holding the sandwich says he's laughing. No,
is this a meme? I don't.
I mean, what does meme mean anymore? It's just a kid.
Meme.
I'm not familiar with this one.
Oh, and here's another thing that happened.
So find it.
IO Interactive has been working on a original IP, a fantasy game that was going to be published by Microsoft. Microsoft withdrew their funds from that, and IO, the only thing they get out of this is that they get to keep their IP. They had to shut down their entire Istanbul studio. Like,
which IP do they own? I'm assuming it's Hitman.
Wait, I'm assuming they own Hitman. Was in Constantinople. No, I'm joking. Sorry,
Shut the fuck up. How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm not logged
I'm
into
sorry.
Twitch.
So IO Interactive, the IP they own is what? Hitman? What else?
Freedom Fighters.
Hitman?
They
Freedom
own
Fighters,
Kane
okay.
and Lynch, and they own a few much smaller things from way back in the day. But this was going to be like
now
their first
now they
new
do
original
Bond,
IP.
but Bond is owned by Amazon. So
Yes.
wonderful.
Which they have said that while their Project Fantasy title is delayed, obviously because they lost a fucking studio, they own the IP and they are continuing development. So thank fucking God for that. But
Well, they're
Jesus
still
fucking
trying to
Christ, that this had to
find-
happen.
Right? They're still trying to find someone to publish it.
They don't have a publisher
or fund
now.
it. Or fund it.
There probably are.
Everybody
so we
is
don't know.
scrambling.
We don't know that it's still coming. They're still trying to find someone to give them money, right? Yeah.
Correct. But like
That
it's I suppose it's only slightly better than just being outright, a studio being shut down or it's always better to hear that like they're exploring options. I don't know if it's going to end up coming together or whatever. The craziest thing about, not the craziest thing, but like one of the craziest things about this whole Microsoft restructuring is that they're essentially undoing everything that, remember like in 2018, 2019, where like in
They bought
2020,
10
I guess,
studios.
they bought 10, like every E3, they're like, we bought this studio and this studio, and now we're bringing this like beloved IP into the Microsoft ecosystem, and now they're undoing it all.
Since then,
yes, obviously, much has happened since then. It's just like I still remember like feeling positive and excited about Microsoft again. When I was like, oh, they're making all these big moves. This is exciting. They're getting serious. Like they're making games that I care about. It. And like this is crazy. And now like literally the move is to undo everything they've done in the past 10 years.
what Nick's trying to
basically.
say is he's disappointed that they've given leadership to a woman.
Fuck. Shut the fuck up. I don't like her though. I will say that. I don't like her. And that's mostly because of AI. Okay, look, this is all very, very bad, but I think we've done our due diligence in acknowledging it and saying that it sucks.
But hey,
Uh,
Grand Theft Auto 6 can be pretty cool, I bet.
Woo.
Yeah, it's just a shitty time to be into gaming. I mean, it's a shitty time to really be into anything right now. But we're gonna get through this. I don't know. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be positive, guys. This too shall pass, whether we like it or not, I guess.
It is very hard for me to be happy and enjoy a hobby I've enjoyed my entire life.
Dude.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For real?
I mean, I definitely I sympathize.
These are dark days, boys.
I bought the new DLC campaign for Doom: The Dark Ages, and part of me really just
Was this
doesn't want to
before or
fucking play
after?
it.
Before or after? That sounds like you bought it before this.
I bought it the day that it came out because it was $20, and then the next day they laid off basically all of it. And it fucking sucks, man.
It does.
Yeah.
I have a if you're going to gut a studio like id but not close it, I guess what is the point? I mean, I guess what, to make them all support developers?
No, it's the asset stripping strategy that is like super big. Like when you buy a company and then you sell off all of its valuable assets, the line goes up and the the company is quote unquote doing better. Like this is just how the whole scam economy works now. It has nothing to do with video games. It has nothing to do with the goodwill versus player sentiment. There is no more like customer company relationship. This is entirely about,
and there hasn't been for a while,
about shareholder sentiment, right?
Or maybe there never has been.
You need to make the line go up. That's it. That's it, because this is late stage capitalism, boys. Come on, revolution. Let's go. Who wants to go to the gun range?
Nintendo's still pure, right?
Right? Don't say that. Knock on fucking wood.
Miyamoto.
Yeah, those guys. They know what's up. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I don't know.
I almost feel like maybe a 4-player minute isn't even necessary this week.
Who left?
Where'd he go? Oh, Brad abandoned it. Wait.
No, I'm
back.
here. I'm
Okay.
here. I'm here.
Oh, he got dropped by the CIA.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to do a 4-player minute? Or
Who cares?
is this too raw? Is this too raw?
You're my fuck you of the week.
All
Yeah,
right.
my fuck you of the week.
Everybody gets the fuck you of the week, starting with Brad.
My fuck you of the week goes to not Xbox. Goes to Phil Spencer. What? Fuck you, man. I blame that guy. He's the reason we're in this situation.
A decade
because he
of
left?
mismanagement and not understanding, having the message of we're going to let our developers cook and take their time, but then not actually helping them ship a fucking product is half of the reason why we're in this fucking state. Right?
The Game Pass utopia. Everybody wins. The developers win. The consumer wins. And everyone making money. It's a utopia. Everyone wins. Yeah. The Game Pass lets all this exist. You know, Pentiment can exist because of Game Pass.
They expected that, like,
it was marketing bullshit, and
Game Pass was the socialist gaming utopia.
They said that the target of subscriptions for Game Pass was 77 or something million, when they've barely breached 30. Like,
yeah, that's pretty bad.
I am just waiting for that stateless, moneyless, classless gaming society experience. Like,
that's you're gonna be waiting a long time, my friend. I don't.
Can I say? I'm still excited about games for the second half of this year. You know, they can't keep me down. Right? There's cool stuff happening right now. As long as I can rent physical games from Game
What should I play? I am in a rut. I don't know what to play. I just keep playing Hades 2 and Final Fantasy 14. What should I play? Someone give me a reason to live.
Play those games. What's wrong with those games?
No, they're great, but I need something new.
You need
Jump
something
Space?
new?
Anyone play
Alan Wake 2? Bog Noise. No, Bog Noise brought up a goal. Play Alan Wake 2.
No.
You Remedy hating bitch.
I hate Remedy.
Crispy, what are you doing? Play Mina.
I'll play Mina.
He's not.
It's in our library, and it's.
Oh, listen to this guy.
No. I think Control Resonance is going to come out soon. Control Resonance is going to come out soon. You are like a famous hater for Control. I think you should play Alan Wake 2.
I prefer to think of myself as a high-profile critic of Control.
What?
I'm a critic.
They've changed. You're a hater, and I think you would be a lover.
Yeah, maybe.
Man's got a point. Man's got a point. Chris Davis, what's your fuck you of the week?
My fuck you was already to Sony, and it was already at Xbox, but I will throw out a third fuck you to Fandom, who have laid off today 5 more people from GameSpot, including an editor who was recovering from a fucking gunshot wound and was hospitalized.
The fuck?
They laid off
Who
got
shot?
Their
Jeff
deals
Gerstmann's
editor,
still recovering?
Brendan Hesse, who is the deals editor for GameSpot, has been laid off while on medical leave from receiving a gunshot wound.
That is maybe the most fucked up thing I've heard this entire episode. That's what the fuck. Oh, God. Eat the rich, guys.
Fandom.
Eat the rich.
Fuck the rich.
Do it. Get
No,
your
fuck the
concealed
rich, eat the
carry
rich.
permit. Carry a gun with you at all
Wait, who got
times on the
shot?
off chance you see
Say
a
their name again?
CEO.
Brian
Brendan
Hesse?
Hesse.
Oh, Brendan
okay.
Hesse.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right, Crispy, do you have another
I mean,
fuck you?
yeah, there's a lot that are deserved, but I'm gonna stick to my wheelhouse and give another fuck you to Pete Parsons, former CEO and founder of Bungie,
That's a good one.
or as the community is taking to calling him, Pete Carsons. Get it? Because he spent all that money that he got from the Bungie acquisition on classic cars.
Hmm.
And
Also,
then
fuck Mercury Steam,
fuck
goddammit.
those guys. And you know what? Fuck Mitch McConnell. I know that bitch is dead. I know he's dead. Like, come on. What are we fucking doing? They're
One
using
can
his
only hope.
corpse to prop open a fucking...
They're gonna Weekend at Bernie's him. Okay.
They were already
Fuck
doing
that
that with
guy.
him.
Fuck that guy.
Can we be real for a second? Does he not look like the creature from Pan's Labyrinth?
That was the meme, and it's a good meme.
Okay, so that's a legitimate. That's an opinion that a lot. Okay.
Yeah, he looks like he takes it up the fucking ass from Satan.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. That's not homophobic, is it?
No.
It's not
I mean,
supposed to be. I mean, I'm Satan sucks,
Satan-phobic?
right? Satan's bad,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Is he? Is he bad?
I mean, I guess. But here's the thing, man. Fuck Mitch McConnell. Okay.
Yes. No. Seriously. Fuck Mitch
Yeah.
McConnell. I don't think that's controversial. It shouldn't be. Man, I think we got our bases covered with fuck yous. You know what? I just want to say to maybe try to end this podcast on a not horrible note.
I
Coward.
swear to God, if it's about Dexter.
No, to Brad's point,
Oh.
I am still excited about a lot of stuff that's coming this year, and despite how awful all of this is, there will be exciting things next year, and the year after that, and the year after that.
Now, the year after that is your ass.
The year after that's questionable.
Easy,
I don't
easy,
fucking
buddy.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's not really a good way to spin this. It's all shitty, but video games.
But hey, I might win Fantasy Critic.
Dude,
That's
I don't
true.
even know if there's gonna be enough games releasing in 2 years for us to have a fucking Fantasy Critic League.
We'll just lower the roster.
We'll just do a
3
Love
games
Island
each.
Fantasy Critic or
We'll,
something.
we'll all
I mean,
predict just
maybe-
game of the year.
Maybe we're heading towards a gaming utopia where like there are fewer games, and those fewer
That's
games
not
because they're-
fucking happening.
fewer games made by fewer people mean better games. Maybe
No,
no.
that's not how the math
I don't know.
works.
I don't know.
Do you know
The math
how-
isn't
do you-
mathing.
Do you know how many games got released on Steam last year? About 17,000.
I think
Oh,
you're making my
thank
point, though, is what I'm saying. Look, the industry is shrinking. I feel like that's kind of the crux of this, right? The industry is like the gaming industry is, after years and years and years of just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger in every way, shape, or form.
It's mostly just 5 games. I mean,
No, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like the hobby isn't getting bigger, getting smaller, but like the people that are working within the industry is inevitably getting smaller. The number of studios is getting smaller. The number of projects that are being released is getting smaller.
Maddie,
I feel like
Maddie in chat says, I think the industry needs to crash, like genuinely.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
watching what it looks like. It's happening now.
This is the crash. We're watching the crash happen.
We're mid crash.
This is, at the end of the day, we have to weather the storm, and the industry is going to have to adapt to whatever the fuck happens, or it goes away. Like there's just no other option. Do I think the video game industry is going to go away entirely? Fuck no. But like,
It's too big
are-
now to go away forever. Also,
we are watching. We
our
are
phones-
watching.
We all have
Yeah.
phones, don't we?
But we are watching the single biggest. I guess I don't know what word to use. Event.
Upward transfer of wealth.
Sure. Yeah. Since we started doing this podcast, this is like probably the biggest industry rattling event. And it sucks. The
Get the new Rhythm
uncertainty
Heaven
sucks.
game. Get the new Rhythm Heaven game. Get the new Splatoon game at the end of the month. I'm telling you, these are good vibes. Nintendo's got us. I'm telling you. We can keep the console wars going. We just have to stick behind the big N, you know?
The big N.
Yeah. You got one behind you, Nick.
Oh yeah, I do. Look at that.
We just got
I do have
Nintendo.
that.
Nintendo's our only hope.
And then pirate everything that's Xbox and Sony.
Nintendo
That's
going
too
full
complicated.
labo on us next.
We have to get
generation.
behind Nintendo because you can't pirate their shit because they'll sue you into the ground.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
found a new ROM site the other day. Nintendo
Oh.
can't keep me down.
They're gonna nuke us, Brad. Don't say that.
Nah, we're good.
guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I hope next week things are
Playing this shit on my phone.
maybe. I hope next week we can have more positive conversations. I don't really know what else to say about that. It's terrible what's going on out there right now. Sorry, I can't fucking speak apparently. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Shit sucks, but we'll keep doing what we do. And
This was supposed to be uplifting.
I know, man, it's hard. I don't know what to say. Shit. This sucks. I think I speak for a lot of people I say this sucks. But it's happening.
Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 6 will come out and we'll forget all about
be
this.
It'll be
Pretty
everybody's
cool.
game of the year, and we're gonna have big smiles on watching Jeff Keighley like suck the souls out of the entire audience.
Yeah.
Oh my
There
god.
it
Guys,
is.
just remember the important thing is that you be good to each other and you play video games if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Steal video
And
games if you can.
if you can, you know what they say, piracy is a victimless crime.
It's true. It's very true.
So anyways, guys, take it seriously. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Play video games because that is at the end of the day what we're here to do. And we'll be back next week to talk about them again. And hopefully we'll have better news for you. But in the meantime, you know what to do. Find us in Discord if you haven't. Discord.gg/4player. And we'll catch you next week. Good night.